This is CTV. Don't blink.
In the news tonight, National Unity Platform cautious about the invitation from Inter-Party Organization for dialogue. Already sworn-in members in disputed areas will be recalled, says Judiciary. Also, NRM blocks Uganda from launching Chisoboka campaign. And in sports, Premier League clubs stuck on how to stay up after lockdown. Hello and welcome to PM Edition. I am Vanadetta Pio. I am with Isaac Luchamuzi on Sign Language. We begin with a calling card for democracy. The Inter-Party Organization for Dialogue has invited the National Unity Platform and People's Progressive Party to join them on the platform that brings together different political parties represented in Parliament to discuss matters of national importance. The National Unity Platform, on the other hand, maintain their position is no to IPOD.
The 2021 general elections saw new political players emerge from the shadows to join the race for the presidency and other leadership positions. One particular party that stood out from other opposition parties during the campaigns was the National Unity Platform. This party, led by the popular musician and former Chadondo East Member of Parliament, Robert Kyagulanyi Ssentamu, also known as Bobby Wine, would often draw lots of crowds almost everywhere they went and would end up taking the second position in the race for the presidency. Although the National Unity Platform did not win the elections, it however managed to take the majority of seats of the opposition in the August House, which automatically meant that they would have the privilege choosing the leader of opposition. In light of these developments, the Inter-Party Organization on Dialogue, IPOD, has today invited the new eligible political parties in Parliament which are in the National Unity Platform and the People's Progressive Party to join the platform along with other political parties. According to the National Unity Platform, if they are to join IPOD, it should not be for just show.
Trying to prepare to receive NUP and PPP as Secretary Generals of parties that have been in IPOD before. We are welcoming them and they should join IPOD regardless of other conditions, and I'm sure the Secretariat has already notified them.
Of course, we have had issues of show-off, of who is with the wider chest. But when you come to this platform, we are equal. The one with 100 MPs, the one with 2, the one with 1. This is an equal platform that gives us an opportunity to bring whatever small energy that we have to make the platform better.
IPOD in and of itself, its establishment was for good intentions. Political parties that are represented in Parliament, to see how the political space, can be availed for everybody, equity and so on. But then there's political persecution that's happening. To date, we have many of our supporters who have been held in jail for months on end, simply because they are our supporters. What is IPOD saying about that particular matter?
While speaking to the journalists at the IPOD Secretariat in Ntinda, the chairman of IPOD Council and NRM Secretary General Richard Todong revealed that they intend to have thorough engagements with various stakeholders, including leaders of both National Unity Platform and People's Progressive Party. However, the spokesperson of the National Unit Platform and Nakawa East Member of Parliament, Joel Senyonyi, further reveals that they were approached by iPod, but they are yet to understand the real intentions.
We want to show them that iPod is a platform of mutual respect for one another. We really respect the different ideologies, sort of thinking that we believe in as parties. And once they come, definitely, we shall be able to share as council members of iPod.
These are the concerns that we have, that we want to be a part of an entity that is serious, not just, be there, take tea, take pictures, laugh, and then go back. But the persecution continues, the political space keeps shrinking, then it becomes an irrelevant entity.
According to Richard Todwong, political parties need to stand together irrespective of their views and values.
You can be enemies, but that doesn't mean that you don't need to talk to each other. You can compete for one position, but that doesn't mean you don't talk to one another. Talking is good, dialogue is good, and we promote dialogue, since we all claim to talk for the people of Uganda.
iPod also raised concerns over government's move to suspend activities of the Democratic Governance Facility, who were funding activities of some of the political parties.
The suspension of this support has affected all of us. We have not been able, as parties, to do much because the grants that we used to get through iPod has not been coming, and so it has affected our internal activities.
iPod was first established in 2010 during the 8th parliamentary session by 6 political parties: the Conservative Party, Democratic Party, Forum for Democratic Change, Justice Forum, Uganda People's Congress, and National Resistance Movement. Eve Masawi, CTV, PM Edition.
Still circulating around the issue of dialogue, the National Unity Platform is still cautious about joining iPod. To discuss more on this, we now cross over to Naguru, where we are joined by Simon Chris Makanga, who is with Simon Chris Makanga. Simon?
Oh yes, thank you so much, Bernadette Apio. Indeed, it's very true with me. I have former Member of Parliament, Kampala Central, and also a member of NRM Party, Captain Edward Francis Babu. Captain, it's an incalculable pleasure to have you with us on a CPM edition.
Good evening, and thank you for having me.
Well, now let's start with iPod that had their first meeting today. NUP says they cannot be part of that discussion until they discuss matters of their interest. And then Secretary General NRM, Richard Todwong, says they need to come together and discuss matters of a national importance. What does this sound to your ears?
It's interesting. There is a culture we have developed in this country. We give conditions to everything. But I think Honorable Richard Todwong has put it very clearly. We've got to get together to be able to discuss. Now, the NUP might have a good reason for not wanting to join, but why doesn't NUP take that reason to the meeting and during the meeting put it on the agenda and discuss it? I think that's the only way to do it. And the discussion by the dialogue, in my sincere opinion, is the best way to go. You have dialogue, you discuss, you give your views, you give your dissent, and eventually, this is supposed to be a consensus. And then if you can convince the others, then it becomes consensus. But you cannot snap your finger and hope everybody will do what you want.
Speaking about iPod, from the time of its inception in 2010, it's now 11 years. What can we speak about as its achievements?
Well, one thing I must give them, and we must all agree, you and me, is that the method they used to campaign and the method they used on social media gave them a win in certain parts of this country. And some people actually, voted them. So their tactic, their strategy worked. So in my opinion, they had achieved one particular area but they must learn to achieve in other areas, because the politics of election is different from the politics of after election. So now it is after election. Politics is on a different level, and the ball game is different. The tactics you use to get a vote to go into parliament is not the election, is not the same tactic you're going to use to even stay in parliament, because you could find yourself becoming irrelevant.
Now, looking at NUP's reasons for not attending IPOD, it's not the only party that has not made its way present. FDC is among other parties that have not attended IPOD. When you look at NUP's reasons, are they justified enough?
That's what I'm saying. Whatever the reasons might be, whether justifiable or not, they should go into the meeting and ask them that they want this to be put on the agenda to be discussed. Because even before you discuss, they ask you if you agree with the agenda. And in my sincere opinion, I think they would make a better discussions if they have got, if they don't agree with the modus operandi. And I think that's the only way to do it, because it is all of them put together that can change the stance. For example, NUP wants one of their benefactors to be recognized. Go to the meeting. Put it on the agenda.
What do you think will be coming out of that meeting?
Well, people are going to put things on the agenda. They are going to say, for example, they have to be funded, one of the things. And the good thing is the argument was the funding should not go according to proportions in Parliament. It should be, all the parties should have equal share. And then there are discussions of how they should respect each other and human rights. I think there's a lot of things they can discuss. And they can also discuss propaganda, which has been going on the social media, and the misuse of social media. They discuss also people who do not respect. We should respect each other in this platform. And I think that's...
Captain, IPOD is a manifestation of what we went to in 2005. Uganda went to ballot and voted for multi-party political dispensation. Did we really understand what we went for?
If you want to know my sincere opinion, I don't think, first and foremost, we understood. And secondly, I don't think we have ever sat down to give our people enough civic education to try and understand the multi-party we adopted. And another thing that worries me is that democracy is not one size shoe that fits all our legs. What democracy is in the United States or in Britain is not the same as what we might want here. We might have to adjust it a little bit to fit within our society. And our people have to be given time, first of all, to understand it, and we must try as hard as we can to give people our civic education on this issue.
Thank you so much, Captain, for speaking to us.
Thank you.
It's been a very big pleasure. Well, Bernadette Apio, that is Captain Francis Babu, former Member of Parliament for Kampala Central. Well, he's a man who speaks to himself with candor. It's upon you to either take it or leave it. Back to you in studio.
Thank you, Simon. Still many questions of inclusivity, still many questions on respect and dialogue. We do move on. Elected leaders facing election disputes face the risk of being recalled from current positions, according to the judiciary. The revelation comes as judiciary begins dispatch of judges and magistrates across the country ahead of the hearings. Lakiato Haire has the details.
At least 155 election petitions filed in the courts of judicature across the country, disputing the outcome of the parliamentary and local council elections. After postponement of hearings, the judiciary is now ready to expedite.
The time for filing of petitions ended. We ended the receiving of the petitions, but some people are filing applications asking for different things. Those ones will be addressed by the judges along the petitions, so those ones can be handled along that.
However, a good number were sworn in as elected leaders. The judiciary will not be deterred.
The petition is against a person who is in parliament or was sworn in as a chairperson of a certain district. If the court has cancelled the elections, it means the person has to vacate the seat even that order of vacation will be made by the court that he should vacate the seat. And the Electoral Commission will be directed to hold fresh elections. But that one, that is done notwithstanding that the fact the person can appear, and once he appears, then the process has to wait until he has finished his appeal.
The judiciary says only 155 of the election petitions that were handed over before lockdown from the January 2021 elections shall be treated with immediate effect. 32 judges have been earmarked across the country.
So the Honorable Principal Judge has assigned a total number of 32 judges who are supposed to expedite the hearing of 155 parliamentary and local council election petitions.
After courts having been suspended during the 42 days lockdown, the spokesperson of the judiciary has come up to clarify on how these courts shall reopen on the 16th of August. However, master court proceedings shall resume on 18th of August. Lucky Atire Iwinjira, CTV PM edition.
Mass COVID-19 vaccination has resumed today in all the 32 centers in the Central Business District and Kampala City. Emphasis has been on those receiving the second jab.
Hundreds of people flocked almost all the 32 gazetted COVID-19 vaccination centers across Kampala City for getting the COVID-19 protocols, such as practicing social distancing as they rushed to get themselves a jab. Health workers also found a hard time as they tried to make ends meet with the many numbers. Dr. Monica Kukiriza, the in charge of vaccination exercise at Bukoto Health Center 3, was pleased with today's turnout, but revealed that they had to start a bit late due to the challenges of transport, especially for the vaccines.
We get transport challenges. The numbers are too overwhelming.
The exercise will continue in the city until the vaccines are over, and the first priority is being given to those getting the second jab. However, also those receiving the first jab were not denied. Meanwhile, at Mandela National Stadium in Nambole, the national center that was selected to cater for mostly teachers, the exercise did not take place. According to officials, health workers were still undergoing training, hence the delay. Some teachers who arrived at the venue early wore a look of anger and frustration after the long wait.
We reached here. They told us that we should be vaccinated like yesterday. Yesterday we came in, nothing. Today, same story, nothing. So I really don't know, and they can't give us an apology that they should come in anytime.
Among the vaccination centers include Naguru Hospital, Kisugu Health Center, Kawempe Hospital, Mengo Hospital, and others. The government suspended vaccination activities in July this year after they ran out of COVID-19 vaccine doses. The process has, however, resumed today after a recently acquired more doses. The continuous availability of vaccines has encouraged the government to plan the expanded vaccination drive, and it's aiming at vaccinating at least 21 million people. Shamim Nateba for CTV PM edition.
Police and Kampala Capital City Authority enforcers have arrested over 20 vendors on the second day of their operation aimed at decongesting the city. The vendors, however, vow not to leave the streets unless they are relocated.
The second day of operation combed areas of Nabugabo and Chikobo in the city center. Over 20 vendors were apprehended and merchandise seized. The vendors still on roads insist they will not take heed until relocation.
Hawkers cannot go to the markets. All are kids. For example, I only have 3 trousers. Who will I sell to? I only need 3 customers and I go home. KCCA has used a lot of force. These days, they use too much force. When you confiscate my merchandise, I just report to my boss. He will pick the merchandise from KCCA and return it back to me.
Kawempe Division Mayor Emmanuel Serunjoji supports the vendors' move.
mayors. I'm against such a policy. It's good we as mayors, we have never sat. As leaders of the city, we are yet to sit and declare ourselves about that. But what they are doing is wrong. At this time, when we are still under lockdown, there's no way you can chase away people from where they are earning a living.
Kampala Capital City Authority spokesperson Daniel Nwawine cautioned the vendors to comply.
These have been apprehended and are going to be advised never to go back. But we appeal to the entire city community, especially those that are trading on the streets, to move into markets. We have over 1,000 stalls in Usafi market, and this market is next to the taxi park. Once we all get there, the clients will find us there, and we'll trade in an orderly manner.
KCCA says the apprehended will be tried before the courts of law. Safi Mokele Baloku and Chris Samali Musimakula for CTV PM Edition.
PM Edition does take a short break, but more when we return.
As we embark on a journey to realize our full potential, we all need expanded minds and limitless possibilities. We need to be accurately informed. CTV is your growth partner. With reliable, in-depth news, we tell the story from all perspectives. We bring you the story in real time. Catch our comprehensive daily bulletins in Juba Egolodie at 7 p.m. and PM Edition at 9 p.m. CTV, don't blink.
Welcome back. You're still watching PM Edition. I am Bernadette Pio with Isaac Luchamuzi on Sign Language. The National Resistance Movement Party has today declined endorsing the Chisawaka campaign spearheaded by Godfrey Chiwanda. The Buganda Vice Chairperson had called for a press conference at the party headquarters only to be declaimed from using the venue.
It's a drive that embraces all government programs and highlighting them.
Earlier today, all seemed rosy for the former State Minister of Tourism Godfrey Chiwanda Sobi, who intended to paint Chadondo Road yellow once again with his supporters from the Buganda region. The Vice Chairperson of NRM in the Buganda region had invited the press for the launch of a drive dubbed Chisoboka, a campaign aimed at changing the mindset of people in the region in regards to programs and activities of the party at the NRM party headquarters.
There's a general lack of responsibility and ownership of government programs, a serious obstacle to development. Dependence syndrome is so widespread throughout the country and is at all levels of society. There's also high tendency among Ugandans to consider self-interest before anything else.
At the party headquarters, Chiwanda was told that he could not use the premises to launch a project which has not been fully endorsed by the top party organs of the NRM.
The Central Executive Committee is going to have an evaluation of this, make a comment on it, and once we have agreed, then Honorable Chiwanda will come and go ahead and launch with the Secretary General and all the other officials of the party.
According to Chiwanda, the campaign aims at reviving the popularity of the ruling party in Buganda through mass sensitization of the government projects meant to help the people in the area.
People should understand what's the difference between the seed and the grain. We should provide and exercise leadership in the country to make sure that people really consider issues of mindset change very serious and also ensure that all organs of NRM function properly and implement the policies and decisions by the National Resistance Movement.
In response to the campaign, the Director of Communications at the NRM Secretariat, Emmanuel Dombo, revealed that the Chisoboka model is too good for a campaign to be launched in the Buganda region only, and revealed that NRM will look at ways of adding more to it.
Once this agreement has been done, Honorable Chiwanda will go ahead and launch this very good program, and it will be embraced in the whole of Uganda, so that there are fewer questions to answer than explaining what exactly is going to happen.
Much as it is like this, Dombo says the party has been challenged with the speed at which the former minister is working.
Chiwanda is a very enthusiastic person, and he moves faster. So he ran and moved faster than everybody before we had concurred on how exactly we are going to do it.
It's not clear whether Chiwanda will be moving on with the campaign after the party decided that it should not be held. It should also be noted that the NRM party performed poorly in the last general elections in the Buganda region, losing many seats to the National Unity Platform in an area which Godfrey Chiwanda Sowi represents. Ramson Muhire, PM Edition.
Between May and June, numbers of Ugandan migrant workers traveling to Middle East rose from 3,706 to 8,830. Immigrant workers say the lockdown has left them with no option.
Nwagawa Alan, 18-year-old, was vending cocoa in the Central Business District and earning a decent figure he didn't disclose until the lockdown struck.
I'm trying to go abroad because I want to develop my home family members, and to develop my status, Kale.
As the lone breadwinner in his family, Nwagawa was left with huge burden to carry.
Parents, I want to provide them with their needs. I want to give them whatever they want. I'm the one helping them per now. We are like three children, but I'm the one supposed, because others are old enough, they have their families. So I decided to go abroad and work for them.
Ronnie Mokontane, a public relations officer, Uganda Association of External Recruitment Agency, has captured that plight.
Of course, as we know, COVID had a direct effect on people's jobs. There are those who lost jobs, there are those who lost businesses and all that. So most of the people looked at sourcing for jobs abroad as the only alternative.
Sozi Joero, former student, has now decided to withdraw.
I was studying at St. Lawrence University, so we were no longer working. So I had no tuition to continue with my studies. So I started to go abroad to make some money.
Mokondane says the economic options in the Middle East make it easy for struggling workers to take that decision.
Say a person who works as a maid here versus the person who works as a maid in Saudi Arabia, how much they earn, you already see the difference. For example, Ugandan maid will earn about maybe 100,000 at most, but when someone is taken to the Middle East or Saudi Arabia in particular, the person is earning 900,000. So that is itself a pull factor, and it kind of defines why people are going to the Middle East.
Ramla Katumba, CTV PM Edition.
Thank you, Ramla, for that story. We now take a look at other stories across the region. In South Africa, lawyers of former President Zuma request corruption hearing delay. In the West, a case of Marburg virus confirmed, and unvaccinated Kenyan civil servants to face disciplinary action. More in this report. Officials in Guinea have confirmed a case of the deadly Marburg virus. You're still watching PM Edition, but we take a very short break. We'll be right back. Welcome back. You're still watching PM Edition. Time now for some sports. Pandemic hit Uganda Premier League teams are stuck on how to stay up after the pandemic. The local football association, FUFA, has added to the wounds by saying relief fund was never a guarantee.
Speaking at the third breakfast meeting for FUFA and UPL club chairman today, the president of the local governing body, Moses Magogo, said the relief fund was never an entitlement.
We are not going to get money from institutions like police, like URA. They have limits. We are not going to get money from the pockets of the rich men. They have limits. We are not going to get money from FUFA running clubs. It can't afford it. That's the reality. It doesn't happen anywhere in the world. It just doesn't happen.
The comments follow claims by clubs castigating the body for lack of rescue. In the wake of the pandemic in 2020, FIFA announced $1.5 million relief. All 211 member associations will be entitled to a basic solidarity grant of $1 million, each approximately over 3.5 billion shillings, as well as $500,000, approximately over a billion, which must be invested in women's football.
As clubs, it is very important. Rule number one for every club is looking for funds and making sure we have funds at the games.
FUFA shared part of the first bunch to all its member associations, including 16 UPL clubs. It's expected that the second bunch was supposed to come in early this year. The breakfast meeting held at Imperial Royal Hotel in Kampala gathered a number of stakeholders. Simon Chris Makanga, Mai Nambalirwa, CTV PM Edition.
Chitendeside Vipers Sports Club have pulled out of the Uganda Cup over a fixture dispute. The club says the new schedule leaves them ill-prepared.
Vipers was on Monday drawn against Police FC, fixtures scheduled between August 19th and 30th. Abdul Wasiki, the club spokesperson, says the club contests the schedule. The club have opted out. The other semi-finalists include Bull FC, Police FC, the league champions Express FC, who are currently in the Sekafa Kagame Cup in Tanzania. The 2020-2021 competition is set to resume in 10 days after it was suspended due to a national lockdown that lasted 42 days. Maina Balira for PM Edition.
Argentinian skipper and former Barcelona captain Lionel Messi has reportedly agreed to join PSG after leaving FC Barcelona. Ex-FC Barcelona star and free agent Lionel Messi has agreed to join PSG with his father and agent Jorge expected to meet with the club in the next few hours. Here is more.
The six-time Ballon d'Or winner is traveling to Paris on Tuesday afternoon to seal his move to the French club on a deal worth 25 million euros per year after tax plus bonuses. Messi had two other options after leaving Barcelona last week, but opted to move to PSG, who will have the option of extending his stay in the French capital by a third year. Messi, who will receive 25 million euros signing on fee as part of the move, was set to extend his 21-year stay at Barcelona by signing a 5-year deal this summer. However, the club announced on Thursday that the financial and structure obstacles meant that the deal could not be completed, meaning Messi left a free agent. The 34-year-old said he wanted to stay at Barcelona and did everything he could to remain at the club, including agreeing to a 50% wage cut. However, Barcelona are hamstrung by La Liga's rules on club spending, and even having Messi's pay was not enough to ensure he remained at Nou Camp.
19 years of age, he gets a hat-trick.
Messi is now set to join PSG with their potential to compete for major trophies, including the Champions League, understood to be the key factor in his decision to move to France. Messi is also believed to be keen to reunite with Neymar, with whom he won 2 La Liga titles, 3 Copa del Reys, and the Champions League during their time together at Barcelona. Mainamba Lira for PM Edition.
In extra time, you can't write it.
We do wish him all the best of luck in his next journey. We have come to the end of PM Edition. I am Bernadette Apio with Isaac Luchamazi on sign language from us and the rest of the PM Edition crew. We are saying good night.
This is CTV. Don't blink.